Hey, I'm sitting here with Irina Roth, successful real estate agent and developer and Airbnb manager. Just got a huge skill set. She's with Dalton Wade Real Estate, and she has her own management company called MidzHomes with a Z. Okay, how did you come up with that name?
It was just super random. My husband and I were sitting and thinking about a company name for our real estate business when he was still a part of it. And he's like, let's just do MIDS because it's just abbreviation for him, me, and then our two kids.
Okay.
Like, it's perfect.
Okay, there we go.
So nothing to do with real estate really, but
But
we
you can
needed
tell
a
a little
company.
story. Yeah. Okay. He doesn't do anything with the real estate business.
Not anymore. No. He used to be a real estate agent on my team, and then he was also a lender, and he's amazing at it. But he is more amazing at music. So he's a professional musician and a music producer. So I just let him do his own thing.
Okay, and you do your
and I
own
do
thing.
my thing. Yeah.
Okay. Your team, how many people are in your, do you have a real estate team still?
So it's not like an official team, I guess. I do work with my best friend, and she helps me with like showings, and
Okay.
especially in the area where she lives, kind of like Pasco County.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically just me, and then I have help.
Okay. So what's a full-time real estate agent, full-time property manager? So how many properties are you running?
Around 20.
Around 20. All those are yours?
Two of those are mine, and then the rest are the ones I manage for somebody else.
Okay.
Different people.
Okay. And how long has that been going on? Like you started out, did you manage one first or you bought one first and had it up and running?
So my family had two properties that they bought 8 years ago, and at the time they just moved from Russia, so they like didn't speak English, they didn't know what was going on, and they just basically asked me to manage those properties for them. And
Okay.
I was like, okay. So that started 8 years ago. It was really difficult because I didn't know the industry yet, but luckily I started working for somebody and doing property management as well. It was more like long-term management, and then some Airbnbs as well. So I kind of learned it on my own, and then with him. And then my clients started asking me like, hey, can you manage our property if we buy one? And I'm
Client says, okay, so you sell them a house and now they're like, oh, yeah. I got the asset. What do I do with it now?
Yeah, they're like, we don't know how to, and we live like in Canada or something, or Russia,
Yeah.
I was like, sure, I'll do it because we do pretty well, and we're super hosts for however many years now. And it just kind of started accumulating, and then I get referrals from on top of referrals, and then my clients are super happy they're buying another property. So it just kind of snowballed.
Yeah. So of those, so if there's around 20, how many different people do you think represent those 18 that aren't yours?
Oh man.
Some of them have 2, 3, 4
Right.
properties.
That's how it is usually.
Okay.
Most of them have just one, but they're in the process of getting another one.
Sure.
Or their friends are getting another one through me. It just.
Once they see how, like, okay, this works.
I think they really, because I like to under promise, and over deliver. So
Yeah.
they're like, how much can I make? What?
Yeah.
So they're making good money, and that's great. I love it.
Okay. So when you started though, you had the couple that your family owned. Those were long-term rentals.
Short term.
Those were
Airbnb.
short-term right away. And I'm assuming from the get, you probably just were like using Airbnb platform, just using the tools that they have. What point did you transition to? Because this is where I'm at right now. All right, how much do I keep low key as far as the management side goes versus making a totally separate company? I have the LLC that I get paid through for my real estate work and tax purposes.
Same.
Yeah, but like, at what point did you go from I'm Irina Roth, real estate agent, who I also manage a couple properties, to MidzHomes now manages properties? Like, what
It's a great
did that
question.
look like?
It was definitely a hard transition for me because I've never really had like full-blown business where I have to have people working with me for me, and then somehow I have to manage all that, and then I have to buy like software, property management software, all kinds of stuff. So I think it kind of evolved. Maybe I want to say 2 years ago is when I became like more serious about it, because I've realized how many properties I have, and I have to really make sure it's good quality work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I started.
So 2 years ago, if it started, how many properties was that at?
I believe it was around maybe like, I don't know, 10, 11, something like
Okay.
that. It was different, which I don't really have those anymore either. So it just kind of like one bad property falls off, and then 3 new ones come in.
Yeah.
So that's how it works.
Yeah, and it does go in scale too. It's like 1, 6 months later, 1. 6 months later, one, and then all of a sudden 4.
Yeah, and then it's like one client, and they just bought like 2 more. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
you're like, whoa, wait a minute. So,
And that's where you got to start putting some other systems in place, because you probably texting every cleaner and doing everything going through you
yeah,
until you realize, like, okay, I got to automate this.
Yeah.
So you have any full-time people that work for you? Okay, how many?
Well, technically 3.
Okay.
So,
Okay, and what are their positions?
So like general manager, obviously, so it's everything that I have been doing, you know, or she's not doing it just full time yet, but that's her position that hopefully will be, you know, filled in the future. And then 2 other people is basically like cleaning schedule and cleaning management, I guess, because that's like a separate thing.
Yeah.
As you know, it's very important.
Very, very important.
So 2 people doing that and like maintenance, you know, but management for cleaning is crazy.
Yeah, that's a real job.
It's a lot of work, and that's, I feel like, a foundation of everything too.
Yeah.
Because if I check into, you know, like even this Airbnb, it's super clean, and if I find something, I would be definitely addressing it, you know, and it's very hard to manage cleaning crew and make sure that they do their job. Because what I do is we actually, like, say somebody just cleaned it, we go in and check after them, and then before we have guests checking in tonight at 4 p.m. I think, we're gonna check it again. So it's like double checking, you know, and that's a lot of work.
For every single property? Okay. And what do you check at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. probably?
11 a.m. checkout. Yeah.
Have you thought about changing that 11 a.m.?
No.
Okay.
Why?
Well, I have it 11 a.m. too.
Oh, okay. But to 10?
Yeah.
Oh.
So some of the more I'm looking at, and they have that 10 a.m. checkout window. If you have 1, 2, even 5, maybe, probably doesn't make a difference. But 20, 30, 50 of them, just getting that extra hour, depending on what your cleaners look like, because you have 5 properties that all are back to back that same day.
It can be, especially during high season.
Yeah.
But you see, I mean, obviously you have to make sure you can manage it correctly as well. But so for homes like this, like it's a big house, you know, or another house that we're taking over right now, we need that extra day because we can't even clean between 11 and 4 because we have to clean the garage. We have to go to the outside area and make sure, you know, everything around the pool is cleaned. So it takes us quite a while because we don't just come in and wipe it with Windex, you know, it's like everything has to be deep cleaned every single time.
Yeah. So you don't allow back to back here?
Sometimes when it's a slow season, we do, because then we can come in and kind of, you know, focus on that alone. But in high season, no. We have to have that day blocked off.
Okay. And so what is it, high season, what does this house bring?
So it would go for like $1,000 a night. Okay. And projected numbers, because we just took over it in March, I believe. So projected
numbers. A couple months ago, March or March 21?
Oh, I'm sorry, this year. Okay. Yeah, a couple months ago. So we haven't really gone through high season just yet, but the projected numbers for a house that's kind of like a tier below this one would be like $13,000 a month. Okay. And that's what another home brings that is in comparison to this one. Okay. But I think this one will be way more.
Yeah. Okay. This house. So let's talk about this house. What they bought this in February of 21 or March, somewhere in that time.
Somewhere,
frame.
Yeah.
Because I remember. So we were talking off camera. She showed it, wrote an offer. I don't think I wrote an offer on this one. I don't think I did.
You should check your files. I would be surprised. Like, I want to see, you know.
I may have. I can't remember. But I remember being in here, and I remember what buyers it was who owned several Airbnbs. And so you wrote an offer for sure.
We were in negotiations.
You were in negotiations, okay. And then you didn't get the deal. Somebody else got it. How are you sitting here in this house?
So I think, my friend, she's a real estate agent. She is the one who ended up winning this bidding war, you know? Yeah. And I didn't know that at the time because we can't disclose that information, obviously. Yeah. But she called me and she's like, hey, we're under contract for this house and my clients would like you to manage it. And I was like, sure. So she's like, can you come by and take a look at it? And I'm like, okay. And she gives me the address and I'm like, holy guacamole, this is crazy. I'm like, I can't believe you. Because the agent for this house, she told me that, the listing agent, she said, you guys are like back to back with this other, you know, client. And I think our offers were the same, but that appraisal gap difference, that's what kind of like kicked us out because my client wasn't willing to pay more than $50,000 gap, which is crazy. And their clients, I believe they covered it or something, like in full.
Yeah.
So they ended up going with them, which I don't even think they had to use that gap
Yeah.
in the first place, because the house actually appraised at a higher price, which is incredible, you know.
That is.
And
because it's seven and a quarter. So yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Okay. So how come you just taken over in March if back then they try and run it themselves for a minute first?
No. They stayed here themselves. They wanted to visit, and so
Okay.
their friends and family came. So we kind of had, we agreed, you know, we have, I don't know, like a month and a half to get it all ready. And they stayed here. We made sure that they have like sheets and towels and the bed, you know.
Yeah.
And once they left, we could continue putting it all together. Like I was putting this wallpaper up myself for 2 days. I was like, okay, this is crazy. But yeah, we basically set it all up.
Okay.
So this is another thing that MidzHomes does. We do staging for Airbnb
Okay.
properties, because everything we buy has to be specific durability.
Yeah.
And like obviously sheets and towels, of course, but even like furniture, I have to make sure, like these chairs, for example, the dining chairs are commercial grade.
Yeah.
So I use Wayfair for short-term like business rentals. So that's what
Okay.
we choose.
Yeah.
It's very important, because when clients buy stuff themselves, they may not think like, how is this going to, you know, sustain,
Last long term. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or they even think like, oh, well, I can get this and it's $100 and that one costs $300.
Right.
So it would be cheaper, and it doesn't make a difference. But it really, having it look nice, especially you're charging $1,000 a night,
Mm-hmm.
it better be nice. Mm-hmm. But like, so that I'm seeing, I watch a ton of YouTube and podcasts and all that, and there's a lot of concern about the saturation of the market, and everybody's trying to get in. I think Airbnb people, investors, to a point, are just like real estate agents who are like, oh, I think I'm going to get in business and make a lot of money.
It looks easy, right?
Yeah, and they realize like, oh, it's hard. I haven't made any money in 6 months. Maybe I'm going to get out of the real estate and go to a real job, where I get a W-2 and
Right.
you know, I don't have to hunt down my money. So I think a lot of those people will fall apart because they don't make it a nice place, and they just get discounted stuff or cheap stuff. The reviews are going to drop. They won't stay booked. And then that'll be an opportunity for MidzHomes to pick it up and turn it around, spend a little bit of money on it.
Not the first time we did it.
Yeah.
Multiple times we had to pick it up and turn it around, because it was just a total nightmare. And I couldn't believe what was going on. I was like, how much are they charging you? And what are they doing? And you have no bookings? Like,
Yeah.
there is no way. You know, it's a beautiful home. Why not?
Yeah.
So
Do you find have you taken over ones that were ran by like Vacasa or a big management company?
I think maybe one was Vacasa, but I mean, usually it's like private, whatever, you know.
Mom and
small-
Pa, they have 2 or 3 houses, or just
Right.
one, and they live in Canada.
Yeah,
you
or
said.
like they're just helping because they want to be like a co-host, and they're just helping
Yeah.
at some point and to a certain degree. But yeah, definitely some stuff I see, I'm like, wow. And that's what separates us too, I think, is the quality. Like I would prefer to have less properties, but take better care of them. And I kind of say we're more like on a boutique side, because we only do referrals. We don't just advertise and, you know, except maybe right now, you know, but we don't advertise really.
Yeah.
And all the people that come to us, they choose us, which I really appreciate, because if you choose me and I choose you, it's a great partnership, you know.
Yeah.
And we can make money. You can make money. I can make money. Everybody's happy. But definitely, I can see a difference in quality. And a lot of people think, you know, we'll just run it ourselves. It's fine. You know, we know what to do. And all the stuff I learned throughout the past maybe 8 years, you know, all of that stuff cost me a lot of money, time, headaches, you know, anxiety. But that's why, but that's why we are where we are, you know, because we had to go through all of that. And that experience is priceless.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't give out advice easily anymore, because I'm like, you know what, it took me 2 years to get to this point to realize I should do it this way. So I'm just gonna, you know, do that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, the small owners who try and run it themselves, and it's not hard. Like I'm not telling anybody to not do it yourself. Like most people I say, hey, it's not that much work. I think you should do it yourself.
Especially if you have one,
Yes.
or you live there and you like share your space. That's totally cool.
Yeah.
You should do it.
You should do it yourself.
Yeah.
And at least get some idea, because it's not, if you're just doing 1 or 2, or you just, because I think everybody should have 1 extra property in their life. Like I really do. I think just suck it up, have one extra property. Who cares if you're breaking even on the thing? Because in 20 or 30 years, when it's got double up in value, it's a nice little perk for your retirement. I mean, that is my retirement plan, is properties.
And it grows in value, most likely.
Yeah.
I mean, it always will.
And it's not a terrible amount of work for one. Now, if you're out of state or you want something totally hands off, that's where somebody like you would come in.
Or if, like, a lot of my clients are investors who actually buy this specifically, what I help them with on my real estate side as an agent, they say, hey, we're looking for a property in Florida. We don't even know like where to look or where to start.
Yeah.
So from zoning to all kinds of stuff, to what kind of property you're looking at, to how many minutes to the beach, I go in and I run the numbers, I do projections, and to them it's a business. Like, they can't just buy a house and hope for the best.
Yeah.
So if they buy this house, I want to make sure they make $1,000 per night, because otherwise their expenses are too high, no income, and it's just might as well just not even bother, or rent it long term and forget it.
Yeah.
But in this situation, to me, like, it's a responsibility on my end to make sure they make money, because it's a business for them. So it cannot be ran just because, they live elsewhere and they just message on Airbnb or respond to guests. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
But definitely, and even for my own properties, my team manages them. I don't touch it, because I'm like, you guys know what to do, and I'm sorry.
You're good.
You guys know what to do. Why would I be involved? There's no point.
Yeah. And that frees up. So that's like the scale part. Surrounding yourself with a couple of good people, that it gives them an income, either a supplemental income, or if you get to the scale that you're at, like, you're really providing full-time income for multiple people, from cleaning staff to the management, handyman, which to me is very fulfilling. I love, like, when other people are doing well and making money. And even us sitting down, like, I love that you're successful. Irina and I met each other 2-3 years ago. 2 years ago?
Maybe 2 years ago.
I know the exact buyer. So I sold one of your listings, 36 Ave South. I can't remember.
You're good at. I don't remember.
Man, yeah, I think I know the buyers.
It was a VA buyer and a VA seller.
Yes.
And we were super excited.
Yeah.
Multiple offers, and I loved working with you.
Yeah.
It was great.
That was good. It was a great transaction. We had a couple little hiccups that we worked through, but then we stayed in touch. That's the only deal we've done together in the last couple of years. We came close a couple times, but
because I was showing the same house you were showing, or something,
we would see each other in passing or at open houses or whatever. So we just kind of stayed in touch, and you really went after. When I say went after, you were very good at what you were doing with the properties you already managed, like by happenstance. And then you blew up on the management side. For somebody to not advertise and go from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 properties to now 20 plus, and you're getting 3 or 4 more on the books.
3 more this month.
3 more this month. That just speaks to like how good you are at it and your reputation. And it doesn't, like, that you don't hurt me by being successful. And I feel like a lot of people.
I like that.
A lot of people get afraid of the competition. And think that, like, I don't want to tell people any of my secrets, or which some stuff is sure proprietary. You want to keep to yourself, but one person's success doesn't diminish the potential success of another. I
firmly believe in it, and I am more happy for you that you're successful, because I know you're a great guy and you're hardworking and you provide for your family. And so to me, what you do, I know you do a great quality work, and you have your own clients, and you always will have them. It's always an abundance of clients for all of us, especially if we do a good job. So companies that don't care how they do their job, if they lose clients, like, obviously, it's their own doing. But I feel like, your success makes me, like, more inspired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, you do great in real estate. You do all those reels and videos, and I'm like, man, I should do the same. It's so great, and I am super happy for you. So.
Oh, thank you. And likewise. The comparison game is tough, because you see these people out there, like, man, they're doing so much more. That more people that I, like, envy, not even on the success level, because, like, I'm successful, I'm grateful for it, but it's on the time level. The people that figure out the time part and how to make less money and get more of your time back, but then provide for X amount of other people to make money. That's what, like, my focus is in the next couple of years. And you're doing that right now, which is pretty cool. That's really cool.
I like that.
Give me a horror story.
Oh boy.
Come on, now, off camera you told me what? We can't talk about that, or no?
Okay.
I'm
not going to go into detail, but
right,
I'll just tell you, like, couple
just give me something
weird stuff. Well, one time it was not what I told you off camera, but one time we had somebody. I think we relisted a listing because it was not getting. So it was weird because I guess Airbnb algorithm works differently, and they always like change it if you notice. So like sometimes you have to do this, sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah.
And so we had the property we've had for maybe like 2 years, and we decided to get rid of the old listing, which had awesome reviews. I don't know, it was really hard for me to do, and we listed it as a new listing, and in order to bring like immediately bookings, you know. And so we did that, and I guess it had like maybe like instant booking on or something. So somebody booked without ID or without verification or reviews from previous hosts, because we're very strict at that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. And the first question that this person asked was, do you have any cameras on premises? And I believe at the time, that was many years ago, we did not.
Okay.
So now we actually have cameras outside and kind of facing the driveway, so we can see how many people are checking
Yeah.
in. So anyway, so they booked, and apparently it was only for one night, which we also don't allow.
Yeah.
So I was like, something
Forget
is
that.
not right. Yeah. I'm like, you know what, but that's fine. You know, they're paying quite a bit, so it's good. It was closer to Christmas, and they booked, and then at 3 a.m., I guess there were like 10 police cars by the house. It was 100-something people at that house. It was a party, and so they took all indoor furniture and put it outside, and it was raining all night on top of it, so it was all like decomposing. I don't know how like it was falling apart. I guess the neighbors were complaining because
Yeah,
it
go
was like
figure.
100-something people, and it was a small house. It was like 2-bedroom home, you know, and it's like an older home. So I was like, oh no, no pool. So luckily nobody drowned. It was so bad, but by the time they got out of the house, I think it was like around 3-4 in the morning. I came in the first thing in the morning, like 8 a.m. I was already standing there, and I was in disbelief. Like, they destroyed this whole house. It was awful. We got the money from Airbnb, so they cover it via the, what is it called? Like air cover.
Yeah.
At the time, I think it was nothing like that.
It was
like
called something different.
Full guarantee.
Yeah.
So it took a little bit of time, but I sent my handyman out. They did everything, so it was fine, actually. Luckily, nothing was like that you cannot replace, you know.
Yeah.
Even with furniture, we're able to save some of it. So anyway, moral of the story, that was really scary. And ever since then, I'm like, you know what? I will make sure that we have cameras, we have verification process. Like, you cannot book if you don't have all of those items, you know, checked. And if you don't have them and you still want to book, then you have to get them. And, like, make sure your ID is uploaded. Make sure, I don't know, you have your email address verified, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So that was number one that I guess I still remember.
I would remember that too. So do you still allow instant booking?
We do, but it has to be with
ID
those,
verified, positive reviews.
Then
all
we
that,
can allow it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, at scale, probably it really saves you time.
The quality of guests. Too.
Yeah.
You don't want somebody to party, because Airbnb actually, I think they just
they
recently
removed
said
that.
they removed that. Yeah. They said, you know, it's like a violation of their rules. So I can always say, hey, like, I understand you want to party, but Airbnb doesn't allow us to have parties because they cannot help us if something happens.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah.
And the second story was, oh my gosh, someone died.
Somebody died.
I don't like that.
You don't like that? No kidding.
I don't like that.
No.
Luckily,
I need to know about this.
it was nothing that was like nothing to do with us. I guess he went to sleep and he just never woke up or something. But the night before, the guests from another property, like right next to it, they were telling us that they had a party till like super late. So I don't know what was involved, but you know.
Okay.
Because the police wouldn't let me in or wouldn't tell me what happened. And the only thing I know is that so the guy died and he was the one who booked. So he was the only point of contact for me. So I didn't want to message
he was no help.
profile. Right, he was no help. But I get a message from his profile like a few hours later after I showed up. And I guess it's like his relatives or somebody, and they were like, hey, since he passed away, can we just get our money back for the remainder of the stay? And they booked for quite a few nights. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, well, it will help us with the funeral and stuff. I'm like, okay, it's so weird. So I called Airbnb and I'm like, I've never dealt with this before, and hopefully this is the last time, but what do I do? They immediately said, just don't worry about anything, we'll handle it. And so they just said, do not answer, don't do anything, we'll just call the guest and we'll give them the refund.
Okay.
And I believe they gave him full refund.
Really?
Whoever that was, that person. Yeah.
And took your money.
They did not take our money.
Okay,
no.
that's nice.
Because it was like in the middle of the stay, and
that's hard. It puts you at a bad, like now there's all sorts of scams
Correct.
going on right now with different things. Like I think I got scammed. I talked about it in a video. I don't know.
You think?
Like pool heater stuff. Stupid. I didn't have the lock on the thermostat. They turned my pool up to 104 degrees. Yeah, the whole pool.
Oh my gosh.
And then they complained about the heat, and they didn't say anything else. And at the end of the stay, they requested a refund, or they weren't going to give me a good review. It was rough.
I believe if something like that happens and the guest says, I will leave you a bad review or no review if you don't give me money back.
will cover you.
Yeah, because they see it as like
it's a threat. Because there could have been nothing wrong. That's like there could have been nothing wrong. Be like, hey, I'm just going to give you 3 stars, or give me $500. Like that's such a dirty way of living. Yeah. But there's people out there who are scam artists, and that's what they will do. And it's an important. It doesn't happen all the time, but it is a risk factor to be aware of if you're thinking about getting into it.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
But that's why you would put, and that's what we do now. We just say immediately we need a lock on that heater. That's it.
Heater and thermostat. What do you have a lock on your thermostat?
So no, we actually use I think it's called Sensi thermostat.
Yeah.
So I don't know this one. Oh yeah, okay, it's this one.
Yeah.
It's super easy, just two buttons, up and down, and it actually has like minimum temperature.
You lock the actual thermostat, yeah.
Yes, because it looks like a regular thermostat, but it has on the app you can control it.
Yeah.
So it's extremely convenient, and they work really well, better than Ecobee or whatever Nest.
I've heard, my buddy had a problem with his Nest one, where
and people cannot figure it out too.
Yeah, they override it. So that is a good answer.
That is a good one.
Because it gives them some flexibility, lets them control it, but people go in there and jack it down to 60 degrees.
And you can, because somebody did another horror story. We had it at one of our condos, and I guess they just like left for a couple days. They stayed for a month, and they decided to go on like a trip somewhere. So 2 girls, young girls, and they come in and they put it down to like 63 degrees or something crazy. So, and then they just leave. They go away. When they come back, the thermostat is frozen and actually broken. So it actually broke the entire system, and the unit outside is up on the roof. It's like a 5-story building maybe.
Okay.
So yeah, that was not good, and it cost my clients thousands of dollars to replace. There is no way to like prove who did it because we could not control it. It was a regular thermostat. But ever since then, I asked my technician, I was like, what should I do? And he said 69 degrees is the lowest because you don't want to go lower. Yeah. And it should be comfortable, for everybody. And then highest is like 78. Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
You're good.
That is good, because there's people that won't, or they won't even be trying to be. Some people are disrespectful and but some people are just like, oh, I'm going to turn this down for a couple hours to cool off, and then I'll make sure I change it, and they forget, or they check out, the kid gets hurt, and all of a sudden 3 days later it's been running, and you get stuck with a nice bill. I still haven't gotten my electric bill from that yet. I'll be curious to see what it was, because it was like that for 5-6 days.
Pool heaters are the worst. I mean, it's great, but the amount of money you have to pay, it's crazy.
You get people. Is this pool heated? Did you put it in?
It was here, I believe. Okay. Or maybe they did put it in.
Do you charge for heat?
So I know some people charge it like separately. Yeah. So we just basically say it's heated in winter months, because like, why would you want middle of July heated? It's already 100 degrees. Yeah. But so in winter in summer we don't turn it on, but in winter we definitely do, and we just charge more per night. We don't like charge separately, because I know somebody does that.
I don't charge separately. I just charge, like, I had somebody ask, they just booked 2 weeks in December. The first 2 weeks of December, and they were asking about the pool heater, and I said I heat it to 83 degrees at the cost that you're booking it at, and then it's $20 a night every 2 degrees up from that. So if they wanted to go from 83 to 85, then it's $20 a night. Nice. I might change that and playing around with it a little bit, but I've talked to a couple people that do that. Same with like guest nights. Like, all right, it's X amount of dollars for 4 guests and it's $20 per person over. Do you do that?
I do that though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's just more wear and tear, and you think about your like electric and all of that, and it's okay. Usually people don't mind that, you know. Plus it's like $20. It's not a big deal.
It's still cheaper than staying on the beach. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And you get a whole house to yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Because right now we have a property that's going to be up to 12 people, which is like super rare.
Yeah.
We're definitely charging extra for extra guests.
Yeah.
Because, you know, everything is going to be touched and used and...
what do you started at, 6?
6, yes.
Okay. And $20 per person over that. Okay.
Well, more than $20 actually.
Well, whatever it is. Yeah.
It's a nice property. So we're gonna do like luxury prices.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you have so are all of yours like this?
Close to it. So it really depends. Sometimes I get properties that are not like as nice because it was already set up before me, and we just come in and kind of touch up, and there is no like budget to improve it really until later. So this one is probably one of my favorites, actually.
This is a killer house. Like, I love this. I remember as soon as I walked in, I was like, when you texted me the address to meet you, I was like, Overbrook. And then I got here, I was like, yeah, this is it. We
all looked at it.
Everybody.
I'm sure, like, literally everybody that we know and we work with looked at it.
It was a madhouse at the time. Speaking of that, at the time, what's your business look like? Are your buyers phasing out on the real estate side?
And so it's like I still have new clients coming in and all that, but I think they're just kind of pumping brakes because of the rates, I believe.
Rates and time of year, even going back to school. Yeah.
And it's just the whole thing is really weird. But it's okay. I mean, we have to adjust to it, so it's always going to be up and down.
Yeah.
Right now it's more of a buyer's market, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
Because even my listings, they're just kind of sitting there, you know. Is it the same for you?
Yeah. I had a couple listings 2 weeks ago. They went live, and we got them both under contract. One over ask, one just under. And then I have another listing that's still been sitting there, has not moved. And we're working on getting down to the price a little bit. But it's hard for sellers to transition to it. This is not March or earlier. This is a different it is a brand new market. It's totally different, and you can't expect that.
No.
And that comp isn't really a comp because, you know, it closed a month ago. It was under contract for 45 days before that, and it was a 2 points different over rate. Like, it's just a totally different market.
Yeah.
So we're working through that a little bit.
It's an adjustment for everybody.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to educate your clients. I told them immediately, you know, to 3 of my last listings, I was like, look, it's probably not going to be moving fast enough, especially at that price point. But, you know, I mean, great properties. So it is what it is. But we definitely see that buyers are just kind of like, well, now I have kind of power in my hands a little bit more.
Which is good. I personally think it's nice.
It's a great time to buy, really. And then you can refinance it. So why would you not?
That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're having
that too.
There's just less competition. And if you're a long-term holder, if you like just got relocated here and they might move you again in a year and a half, and you don't want to keep it at all, okay. But if you're gonna acquire properties and you want to have at least one extra property, I mean this loosely, but it doesn't matter when you buy. Just buy it. If it makes sense for you for your particular situation, buy it and hang on to the thing. Obviously, everybody's different situation financially and all that, but the long-term game makes so much sense. And I'm seeing some people still do that and pull the trigger, but overall, it definitely is less of a madhouse, which is nice. Get a little bit, take a breath.
We can like relax for a second, so you don't have to show. And remember how it used to be even like March or before?
Yeah.
It was, we should like separate lives before March, after March, because it's like a whole thing, you know? But even before, it was never, I could be, I don't know, 11 p.m. and I just got home because, you know, I had a bunch of showings. And if you don't submit an offer immediately, you're out of the game.
You're done.
One time I had to not one time, multiple times, but I remember I was going to my open house and I had to pull over to the side of the street and write an offer because I could not wait another 5 seconds. This is it. And, you know, if my buyers were thinking for too long or something was going on, you lose a house. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm always available, like a doctor delivering babies. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm here whenever you need me. You know?
Like a doctor delivering babies.
That's how I feel we work.
Yeah, it is like that. It is very much like that. And if you don't answer your phone, there's times that certain people don't need something right away and they're just calling or just texting you and kind of working through that. But it is an industry that, and I pride myself on being available and being able to talk and answer the phone. and that's how I've like grown and done well. But sometimes you've got to be able to manage that a little bit, and especially at least your husband was in the industry, so he knows what the game is like.
It's still hard though.
Yeah.
And especially and I mean, did you have kids? Like you probably saw how difficult it is to be away from them. And I know your wife is staying at home right now with them, so that's good. At least like they have somebody to be with them, but it's really hard. And then you feel that guilt, I feel like, right? Like, oh, I wish I could just be with my kids on Saturday or Sunday, but guess what? I'm working.
Yes.
It's like, well, you already work the whole week. I'm like, yeah, I work 80 hours a week. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. But I don't want to lose that time, they're so big now. My son is middle schooler, and I'm like, what?
Middle school.
That's crazy.
So what are you? Well, you're working through that right now, though. You're hiring people who are full time, essentially, to run the property management side. You still are heavy handed in that.
Oh, I'm involved in everything.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
But
I want to be.
And it provides it like there's no. In anything you do, like there's gonna be sacrifice, and it can be good or bad sacrifices. You want to be super successful and provide a higher quality of life, like you're gonna need to work hard for it. Or you want to be fat and happy, like okay, there's a sacrifice for that. Your health is gonna be set. You want to eat whatever you want. Like there's sacrifices everywhere. So
you just choose, I guess, what works for you. And I don't think I could, probably same with you, I could not go back to 9-to-5 corporate job anymore. And I feel like I was so much. Like, it was great that your paycheck is coming, but that's the ceiling. This is it.
Yeah.
And you're not able to, I don't go on vacations that much. I actually tried my best now. Now I went to, Key West. I went to California last week, whenever that was. But, even like being on the plane, like I'm already working. I always write offers on the plane. Like it's my thing now. I just buy internet. I don't even ask. I'm like, just give me internet. Like I need it everywhere. With me. And so that gives me that flexibility, so I can still be, I don't know, somewhere else, or even right now doing this, versus just sitting at the office and making somebody else super rich and happy.
Exactly. And they're on the plane going off doing something else while you make the money. Yeah. And at some point in time, you're going to build out a real estate team more? Do you have any desire to do that or no?
Yeah, I do. And I don't know. You're good at certain things and certain things you're not good at.
Yeah. And the letting go part is hard. And
I don't know how to do that.
But to really scale, so my problem is how do I let go enough to scale a little bit, but still be me? And how, like, if people call, they want to get me.
Yeah, you still want to be the same quality.
Yes.
But you can delegate to somebody else, and the tasks like running errands or whatever, like, hey, go put a lockbox on the door. Like, obviously anybody can do it. So maybe letting go of little things first makes sense, and then you just kind of like more and more. Yeah. And people would love to help you. It's
still keeping your thumbprint on what it looks like, the style, the decor, because you do all your own off. Do you have a TC?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
But she's not like in my company or anything like that. But I've been working with her. She was helping a listing agent buyer's agent on the listing I had in Tampa. And I was like, oh man, she's great. Yeah. Her name is Angela, and it's her company. Okay. She's absolutely amazing, and I could just not do it without her, honestly. Because she oversees, like, hey, you forgot to, like, put this on there. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So, like,
getting little stuff, like, it gives you a little bit of brain power back, which
you could do it yourself all day. That's what we've been all doing. But what's the point? Why would you? Yeah. Just go sell a house.
Exactly. That's how I feel like too.
And she would rather do paperwork because she loves all that, and she's so good at it. I'm like, you know what? I like it. Like, and that's what even I think Mark Cuban was saying on Shark Tank. He was like, I'm not, like, I identified what I'm not good at. Like, say I'm not good at, I don't know, organizing, whatever. That's why I have a person who can do it for me. Yeah. And this is a beautiful thing, which I didn't realize. Like, if I am better at acquiring properties for Airbnb, why would I be calling plumbers and doing my own cleanings? That makes zero sense, You
used to clean yourself? Mm-hmm. I've never cleaned anything.
I was pregnant with my daughter. I remember 7-8 months pregnant doing all the cleanings. Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. And I'm not scared of it. Like, I'm okay to clean toilets, and I'm also okay to...
I'm not above it by any means. I'm not above it. Like, I've done some grimy things to make something happen. Exactly. Like, not illegal things. Just like cleaning toilets or whatever. Yeah. But what is your time worth and who can I get to do that
Correct.
for me?
Correct. Like if I can bring in, and I think that's what we talked about too. If I can bring in more properties, everybody's gonna, on my team especially, everybody's gonna make more money. You know, so like why would I be doing, you know, work that's important, but anybody can do it.
What do you? Is there anything that you like doing that you could delegate, but like it's too valuable? Like not too valuable. It brings you satisfaction. Like you like doing it, decor or decor.
That's me. Like wallpaper. I can put wallpaper all day.
Wallpaper.
Or just designing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'm not. I didn't go to school for design. Like, you know, I'm not an interior designer, decorator.
You just figure it out.
Yeah, and I do have my staging certificate. Like, so I did, I guess, go to school a little bit, but it's just like intuitively what I like to do, and I know how to. Even it's not even the fact that we're gonna go to Home Goods and pick out this table. You know, we're actually going to. It's gonna make sense because we are running an Airbnb. This is not my own house. I don't live here. The owner doesn't live here. You know. And if they do, but they mostly run it as an Airbnb, it has to be how it's supposed to be for the business, because at the end of the day, it's a business for them as well.
Yep.
So it has to be a specific type of furniture, and it's very important to know that, because one of the homes that I took over managing, I think it was maybe 3 years ago. Anyway, they had a staging company come out and stage the house, but they usually do stagings for sale. So that's totally different.
Yeah.
So the beds were falling apart because they're not like connected, you know, with the headboard.
Yeah.
Not the sheets. I think the sheets were fine. I think like certain items were like literally one time a kid comes in and stays in this room, it's gonna be ruined. And they're like, oh, we didn't think about it. I'm like, exactly.
Yeah, staging for a sale is way different than staging and like it's not even the same thing.
It's like going into a model home at a builder's house. Like it's not even real stuff, you know. Like the TV on the wall is plastic. We're not gonna do that.
yeah.
So, and I appreciate it. I get a lot of inspiration from it, but I'm like, no. We need like good quality, like commercial grade quality chairs or whatever.
Yeah. Cool.
So I like doing it.
Anything else for the people?
For the people.
No. Where can do you want people to reach out to? Somebody's got an all right. So where can people find you?
Well, my Instagram, number one thing, and I have link in bio to like book either real estate services with me, staging, Airbnb, so whatever you need.
What is the? Give us a handle. Let's look it up. Do you even know your handle?
I do know it's been the same for the past 10 however many years. It's very funny. Maybe it's not funny.
Well, all right. Here we go.
Okay, find me.
All right. Oh my Irina.
Yep.
Is the Instagram handle for real estate services, and at MidzHomes, MIDZ Homes, for property management.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and hope you keep killing it.
Thank you so much. Same for you.
All right. Thanks.
Awesome.
Bye.